I, 29, recently bought a house and a brand new car. I will admit I probably splurge on my house more than I should, but growing up very poor, it has been always a dream of mine to live in a nice house. I worked really hard to be where I am. So much so I undergo countless breakups because I always choose a career over boys. My brother, 25, is currently jobless. He works as a tourist guide before and can barely make ends meet. He has 5 kids now and counting as his wife announced pregnancy recently. He messaged me on Facebook that there is something he wants to talk about and I thought he wants to name me godmother to his incoming baby. I said sure and invited him to the house to get his approval about some things I modified for our parents. I gave him a tour and he admired my house greatly, saying things like how excited he is to bring the kids to my house. I did not mind anything about it as I thought he meant a visit, which I'm more than happy to host them for. Imagine my surprise when he finally sat me down and finally revealed what he wants to talk about. He wants me to give him my house. I clarified whether he meant this house or the other house I bought for my parents which I still lived in, still has modifications ongoing with my dream house. He said the house is big enough for his family and I can go visit them anytime I like. He even offered that, if I really wanted to live there, I can go move into the maid's room and modify it for my personal use. I was shocked I cannot speak as he thanked me over and over for the house. I finally asked him where the heck did that idea come from and said our mother told him I will give him my house. I of course corrected that and this is where things gone south. My brother repeatedly said since our mom said the house is his now, I cannot do anything but give in. I called my mother to tell him to duck off and lo and behold, my mother sided with my brother. To make this already long story short, my whole family had cut me off and parents disowned me until I give my brother my house. My father has been brought to the hospital over this fight and now I feel really bad. The guy I'm seeing now said to just give the house to my brother and he'll help me to buy another. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot, of course, but what the actual hell is going on here? The entitlement of your brother to expect that you will give him your house. And the nerve of your parents expecting that you would indeed do this. Actually, if your parents want to provide for your brother, they can invite him to live in the house you've bought for them and they can live in the maid's room. Your family is toxic OP and if that's how they see you as a bank, then cutting you off is a good thing for you. Not the idiot. I mean, there's a lot of information missing here, but why the heck would your mother just decide to give your jobless brother your house? From what you've said, it doesn't sound like she's involved enough in that process to just make that decision, especially without your consent. Frankly, if they're actually disowning you over this, I'd say disown them until they come to their senses on this, based on what you've said so far. It does not sound like you should be giving up your house. Not the idiot. Your mom probably thought that since you have already given them a house, you can be pressured to give up another. She did not understand your generosity at all. I would simply lay the guilt trip thick. I thought that when I bought you a house, you would appreciate it. Did you really think that I bought it because I had to? No, I simply wanted to help my parents. Now you guys betray me like this. You thought you could scream me to take my home? So disappointed. I'm 27, an Indian American woman. I was born and raised in America. A large majority of my childhood friends are Indian and I love to catch up with them. I'm the first of my friend group to have a baby. I was expected to be the last to have one, but life happens. I love her very much and she's the main focus of my friend group. Her father, 38, is white and my baby looks predominantly white. For reference, my skin is tan and lighter than some of my friends, but I still look very Indian. My friends and I decided to have an outdoor lunch together for the first time since February. I take COVID very seriously because of my baby, now 6 months, but the cases in our area are very low and we all agreed to go to a place with less crowd. We were very safe. My friends and I were all sitting at a table and were having a great time. A white family later came to sit next to our table, still pretty far from us, more than 6 feet. My baby was laughing pretty loudly and babbling. She was being the happy little baby that she is. I had dressed her up in a lavender dress and she was wearing a little matching bonnet. A lady from that family noticed us and walked over to us, without a mask and pretty close to me and my baby. I immediately started to put a mask on my baby. She started talking to me and complimented my baby and then asked me where she came from. Her exact words were, "How cute. That baby is just adorable. I just want to eat that little face up." Where did she come from? I was so confused and put off by that question. I didn't know what she was talking about, and my immediate response was well, me. My friends all looked so confused and irritated, and we were just super awkward. The lady was offended and told me that I could have just told her that my baby was mine and I didn't have to be so rude. She then huffed off and my friends and I were left pretty angry and confused. We carried on with our lunch, and then when we were leaving, the lady's husband and son walked up toward us and told us that we disrespected her and asked us if we had any lessons in basic manners. We didn't say anything to them because frankly, we were scared. I'm putting this story here because I want to know if what I said was wrong and if I brought the situation on myself. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I'm half Hispanic, my skin is tan, and I have dark hair. My daughter is blue-eyed dark hair. People assume she is adopted, or I'm her babysitter, or anything but the possibility that she is my biological baby. She looks just like me, except with lighter features. But people just don't see her as my biological daughter. Anyhow, some people ask in a nice manner, and I'm not as offended. Others are insensitive and rude in how they ask. Congrats on your new baby. Not the idiot. Honestly, your response was hilarious and 100% factual. If she's offended, that's her issue to deal with. Maybe she should avoid asking intrusive, probably bad questions. If you ever encounter a situation like that again, I'd keep your original response, and then when the questioner acts affronted, calmly sit them down and start with, "Well, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much." Not the idiot. I don't even understand what happened here. Did the white woman get offended because the brown woman said that the white baby was actually her baby? I get that OP would be slightly offended, since the weird wording suggests OP just took a baby from somewhere. More likely the woman thought the baby was adopted. But why in God's name was the woman offended? For what? And why did her husband and son feel the need to intervene? Is this some cultural issue in the USA? My husband and I have been together for 16 years, married for 11. He has always had a pretty low pain tolerance, though he won't admit it. Once he accidentally kneeled on one of our toddler's Hot Wheels cars, and it put him out of commission for the entire day, although nothing was broken or even bruised. I've become alarmed many times at his overreactive response to things like stubbing his toe or hitting his funny bone on something. He will literally moan and whine and shout out in pain over the most minor stuff. I always thought of it as a quirk of his, not too major to actually have a conversation about, until yesterday. I have what my doctors believe is Crohn's disease, and I've been in the thick of a nasty flare-up for the last few days. For those of you unfamiliar, it's an inflammatory bowel disease and causes diarrhea, vomiting, etc. I was trying to take a nap for some relief, and had just gotten to sleep, when I hear an actual scream from downstairs. I jump out of bed and find my husband clutching his hand. I asked what happened, and he told me he pinched his finger in the baby gate. I looked at it, and it wasn't even red, no broken skin. I told him he woke me up with his scream, and probably also woke up our son, and he said he couldn't help it, it just hurt so bad. I said, you know what else hurts? Crapping my brains out all morning, and not being able to take a nap, because you're being so loud over a minor mishap. He got really offended and said that I wouldn't like it if I pinched my finger either, and I said no, I sure wouldn't, but I also wouldn't scream my head off. I didn't even do that when I was giving birth to a 9-pound baby unmedicated. He said, well, your body was made to do that. I'm not made to get my finger stuck in a baby gate. This is when I rolled my eyes, told him to grow a pair, and went back upstairs to try and rest. Yes, I said it out of anger, but my husband is acting like I emasculated him horribly and insulted him to his very core and is barely speaking to me. I'm not in any hurry to apologize, especially since he didn't, for waking me up when I'm dealing, pretty silently, with objectively more pain than he was. Not the idiot. His low pain tolerance isn't the problem, it's his reaction to it. You can control your reactions to things. I'm sure we've all been in a situation where you hurt yourself and go to involuntarily swear, but realize you're around a child and stop yourself. When he screams, he's making his pain everyone else's problem. He needs to be an adult and control his responses. Op psychology, I'm betting mom gave him lots and love and attention when he vocally expressed that he hurt himself. Maybe see if you can find a way of reinforcing him when he doesn't react. Not the idiot. Does he react in public or at his job that way to minor bumps and inconveniences? If so, he needs to see a doctor about it like you likely see a doctor about your Crohn's. We all have to adapt and learn to deal with our circumstances. Maybe he was in tremendous pain, but he is in a house with a sleeping baby and a sick partner who just fell asleep. An effort should be made to accommodate you and the baby. Crying wolf over non-injuries will mean people's reactions to a real injury will be subdued. Maybe explain that to him. Yes, absolutely, you are the idiot. It is not your place to determine the amount of physical pain another person is in, nor is it a contest as to who has it worse. From my own experience, as an example, I tripped at work and fell on a small pebble on the ground. I bruised a tendon under my knee. I couldn't walk for 3 days. There was no external bruising or other indications other than the pain. Your pain tolerance is not his. Denigrating him because of that is just plain horrible and abusive. Last night I sat my daughter down and told her that if she switches her major I will cease her tuition payments. My daughter is currently a freshman in college. She has just started her first semester and I'm the one paying the bill. I have been saving for over 10 years to do this and I am happy to do it as long as I feel she is actually setting herself up for success. During high school, my daughter fell in love with computers. She took every class she could on programming and computer science and declared that her major going into school. I supported her through all this because I thought this is what she loved and felt it set her up for a good job after school. This last week she was on fall break, so she came to stay with me over the weekend after spending a few days at my ex's house. My daughter yesterday morning decided to casually drop that she's planning on changing majors. I was shocked by this and asked why and what she was changing to. She is planning on switching into the liberal arts program. Now I know the major is the go-to punching bag and it feels cliché, but I was honestly a little shocked by how casually she acted about this. When I tried to get why she was switching, all I got was that she all of a sudden hates computer science and has made multiple friends who are majoring in Los Angeles. Apparently, she has been talking with the counselors up there as well, and they along with her friends have all recommended she switch majors. I tried to ask her the regular stuff, what about your future, how do you plan to get a job, etc. And she decided to ignore me and tell me that it's none of my business and that she's an adult. This angered me. I'm the one paying for this, I feel I have a right to know and not be blown off like that. I thought over it all day, and so last night I sat her down and told her that while yes, she is an adult, I am the one paying for her education and I won't be paying for her to get what is in my opinion a worthless degree. I told her if she doesn't want to do computer science that's fine. But she needs to put more thought into the change and find something that she enjoys and can get her a career. And if in the end she decides that she's an adult and she wants to be a liberal arts major, she can pay for it like an adult should, with her own money. This did not sit well with her. We fought and she left saying I'm trying to control her life with money and am being a major idiot. My ex called me up after and told me that I'm no better than a dictator right now and that I'm using her college fund as ransom for her to do what I want. All I want is for my daughter to have a good life and job prospects. Am I the idiot here? You're the idiot, she can't change her mind. Did you know exactly what you wanted to do as a career at 18 or 19 years old? This is really unfair to her. I hope if you decide not to pay for her college that she gets helped out with some financial aid in some way, or else you're really screwing her, especially this early. I was expecting to read that she had done this in her second or third year, not her very first semester. It is unrealistic to expect someone to not change their major in college. I'd even say it's more likely that someone does change their major. Not the idiot. You're paying tuition to invest in your daughter's career future. If you wouldn't pay for her to take 4 years off and live in Europe to find herself, you shouldn't pay for 4 years of a nearly worthless degree. You would be an idiot if you said you will study X or I won't pay for it, but you're within your rights to say the degree she chooses has to be employable if you're going to pay for it. You're the idiot. No degree is worthless if you play things the right way. I would absolutely not force her to stick with one major. I would encourage her to think about employability after graduation. That means paying attention to networking and internships and gaining experience from early on. People can do very well with liberal arts degrees, but the path to a career isn't as straightforward as for a more technical degree. But the first year or two of college are about personal exploration. Give her room to figure things out. My fiancé and I are late 20s, have been together for 6 years, with a 3-month period we were broken up, but we don't really count that, set to marry in 2 years. I make pretty good money for my age. In fact, I make more money than any of my friends or family, and I would bet I'm in the 1% of my community. I try to sound humble, but this is important to my argument. I should also add when we started dating, I was delivering pizzas for minimum wage and going to college full-time for my degree, so the gold digger argument just isn't there. My fiancée 5 months ago lost her job as a waitress. She was fired for no call no showing 3 days in a row to attend her uncle's funeral. Since then, she hasn't worked. I really didn't mind at all. I make enough for us both to have some major cushion. I am against joint bank accounts entirely, so instead, I just would Venmo her some cash weekly. It was $400 for a while, and everyone was okay. She has been complaining more and more about how she's broke, doesn't have enough to survive, etc. I know this isn't true because I shop weekly and fill our kitchen with food, our bathroom with toiletries, pay every bill, etc. She has been hinting at wanting more money from me. I shudder to say allowance, but that's what it seems to be. I told her I would give her more on one condition: she gives me her bank account details so I could see exactly what she was spending it on. I could see the clothes, fast food, and other trinkets she brought home, but I hadn't a clue how she was blowing through all that cash, sometimes in one day, when she only goes shopping once a week with me. She blew up, telling me I wasn't trusting her and how I was the one against joint bank accounts, so I should understand her privacy. Yeah, huge red flags all over the place. I talked to my sister and therapist about this, and they both took her side, saying I was not respecting her privacy when I'm the one that demands it also. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, you guys should see a financial counselor before you get married. Red flag, and she should be working. I mean, $400 a week is a lot for someone who isn't paying rent. You should slowly cut her off, maybe by $100 a week. Right now she has no incentive to work and she is using manipulation tactics against you, and that isn't okay. If she was working and it was her money, I would say you are the idiot. But well, you are the idiot also for enabling her. Not the idiot. Keep financials separate. Then tell her that as you're not her boss or employer in any way, you're not obligated to bankroll her fun money. If she wishes to continue spending your money, you require access to her statements to see how she's spending this money. If she has a problem, you're her sugar daddy. I understand that your financial situation means she doesn't really need a job, but according to her financial situation, she needs a job. This is where you need to step back and figure out whether or not you want a housewife or partner that won't be contributing to life expenses while reaping the benefits if you divorce. Not the idiot, and for God's sake take this validation post to relationship advice where it belongs. Who cares if she wasn't a gold digger a few years ago? She sure as hell is now, and you yourself used the phrase red flags all over the place. Call me suspicious, but are you sure she even got fired from her job, or at least for what she said happened? It's very easy to make a simple phone call saying you're at a funeral. I think it's more likely that she was let go for other reasons, or just plain quit because you'd support her.